Hello friends, welcome back to Kossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Kossy. In this video, we are going to try to understand the Kroenkes. What we are gonna try to understand is who is Stan Kroenke, where has he come from, how did he get mega rich, and you're gonna get something that is very interesting, a fact that is true. This guy literally doesn't care about any sports fans. In all the other clubs that he's owning, fans are crying. So probably we are not the only victims of the Stan Kroenke hand. It looks like the Stan Kroenke hand is actually far, far bigger than we have expected. He owns clubs football clubs in America. He owns Arsenal in the English Premier League, and we shall see how he got to buy Arsenal after buying a couple of other clubs in the USA. Do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel as well. This video is brought to you from TIFO Football. So make sure you have subscribed, you go there, you head over there and and subscribe to them. TIFO Football, that is where we are going to get this video we are going to react to. So let us try to understand who is Stan Kroenke. Probably after understanding who Kroenke is, we will get we will get an insight of why Arsenal is in the mess we are in. Let's get the party started.
Enos Stan Kroenke was not born into great wealth. The controlling shareholder of Arsenal FC was raised in a modest middle-class family in the tiny village of Mora, Missouri.
Okay, so that is the first thing we know. He was not born rich. He was born in a tiny village in Mora, Missouri. His father
owned a lumber yard, and Kroenke would sweep wood chip and help with the books after school before leaving to study business at the University of Missouri in Columbia, 80 miles northeast.
So, literally, this guy's family was poor. And that is what is interesting. He is so sarcastic, but he was poor. However much he doesn't care about the poor, however much he's grown into this kind of guy that is so negative. He was a poor lad. His family was a poor lad. His family was a poor family, and he was a poor lad. How did he get his money?
He showed a flair for business, paying for college from the proceeds of a clothes shop he started. After graduating, he moved into real estate and developing strip malls. He was already independently wealthy before taking a skiing trip to Aspen that would change his life. There, he met Anne Walton, the niece and heir to the fortune of Stan Walton.
Okay, so we are starting to get to the bottom of it, where this guy actually got his wealth. Yes, he was a little bit rich, financially independent, before he meets Stan Walton. Anne Walton, actually, the niece to Stan Walton. So we are trying to get to understand where Kroenke gets his money and why he is so negative at investing in these clubs that he owns.
The founder of the world's largest retailer, Walmart. They married in 1974.
So, marrying Anne Walton, one of the heir to the Walmart, what am I saying? Let's watch it.
The Waltons are now the richest family in America. The 7 heirs, including Anne, are worth $130 billion, but they are also controversial. Walmart's business model means paying bottom basement wages with few benefits for its employees.
Good. So it looks like he looks like Kroenke gets the business model he's running at Arsenal from his wife, Anne Walton. Because the business model they run at as the Walmarts is get more money but pay less to the workers. So literally their workers get money from the government. It's the government that is supporting the workers. So the reason as to why Kroenke maybe doesn't invest in these clubs, he runs the same business model as the Walmarts. Let's try to get to understand it more.
Many of whom have to rely on government assistance like food stamps and subsidised housing to survive.
That's crazy.
In a 2016 campaign speech, Bernie Sanders attacked Walmart, calling it the major beneficiary of welfare in America. According to the US think tank Demos, Walmart donated $80 million to Republican campaigns between 2000 and 2014 with the aim of preventing policies that would eat into their profits, like raising the minimum wage.
Okay.
In January this year, KROENKE donated $1 million to US President Donald Trump's inauguration fund. KROENKE sat on Walmart's board for 5 years and at one point owned 2% of the stock. It was a highly profitable association. He anchored many of his developments with Walmart stores and leveraged huge tax subsidies in the process, something he would later utilise when he moved into sports franchise ownership.
Okay.
Stan, $7.5 billion, and Anne, $6 billion, are listed separately on the Forbes rich list. In 1995, KROENKE, who had always been obsessed with sports, bought a 30% stake in NFL franchise St. Louis Rams.
So this is when this guy starts up KROENKE and sports entertainment. He loves sport. That's what people say. He loves sport. He loves entertainment. And, he has a couple of clubs. We're going to see his clubs. And you're going to see how much this guy has invested in buying this franchise and how the fans have actually suffered.
Owner Georgia Frontier had controversially just been given permission by the league to move from Los Angeles to St. Louis. A state-of-the-art stadium had been built for their arrival.
Okay.
KROENKE was hailed for bringing an NFL franchise back to his home state of Missouri. The Rams won Super Bowl 34 and became known as the greatest show on turf. His KROENKE Sports Entertainment Company went on to purchase NBA franchise the Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche in the National Hockey League, MLS franchise the Colorado Rapids, and even a lacrosse team.
So, you guys just look on your screens. Just look at your screens. This is how much this guy is rich. These are the franchise he owns. Colorado Rapids, Colorado what? I even don't understand the names, but this is how much this guy is owning under KROENKE and sports and entertainment. And probably there's a big reason as to why he doesn't want to sell Arsenal. He wants a very big sports and entertainment company.
After picking up a newspaper on a business trip in Hong Kong and seeing nothing but coverage of the English Premier League, KROENKE decided to invest abroad, in Arsenal FC, where he has battled for financial control of the club with Alisher Usmanov. Usmanov is one of the world's richest men, a controversial Uzbek oligarch who enjoys a close relationship with the Russian President Vladimir Putin. But KROENKE won and took full effective control of the club in 2011.
This is where all the problems started, bro. This is when all the problems started, because in 2011, when Usmanov gives in and KROENKE takes full ownership, that's when the club officially sinks. I just don't get it why Usmanov couldn't put in more pressure on KROENKE to buy him out. I just don't understand it. Of course, he was an Aston man. He's always been a businessman as well.
But it was back in St. Louis where a better assessment of KROENKE's approach to sports franchise ownership could be made.
Okay, I want you guys to pay more attention to this segment because it's going to show you how fans are crying, how fans are disgusted of Stan Kroenke. It's going to give you an understanding that Arsenal is not the only club crying over Kroenke's ownership. It looks like other clubs are also crying over this guy's ownership.
After Georgia Frontier died suddenly in 2008, KROENKE had first option on full ownership of the Rams. He beat Saeed Khan, who would later buy Fulham FC, with a $750 million bid. Under NFL rules, he spun his other US franchise investments to his son. Almost straight away, KROENKE agitated for state subsidies for a brand new stadium to be built, or he would move the franchise to a more amenable city. This is a common move in US sports franchise ownership. Neil deMause, author of Field of Schemes, calls this little more than blackmail and estimates that American taxpayers are handing over as much as $2 billion a year to US sports franchise owners in an effort to keep them from moving. Before buying Manchester United in a leveraged buyout, the Glazer family purchased NFL franchise the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and successfully lobbied for a statewide sales tax to pay for the new stadium, effectively transferring money from the poorest in Florida to the richest.
Good. Now we understand the business models of these guys. We understand how they do the business. The Kroenkes, the Glazers, Liverpool's owners, they're not different. They're not different. Just that Kroenke is so sarcastic. He stinks, man.
Tom Hicks, before his disastrous co-ownership of Liverpool FC, bought the Texas Rangers baseball franchise, and again leveraged the team's popularity to push through a sales tax to pay for the new stadium. A new stadium would cost St. Louisian taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars, but the original contract had a state-of-the-art clause, meaning that if a franchise's stadium was not one of the most developed in the league, Kroenke could break the lease. The threat saw the city do everything they could to keep the Rams in St. Louis, who had now become one of the least successful franchises in history, but they couldn't offer enough. Finally, in January 2016, Kroenke got his wish and the Rams moved back to LA. Once feted, Kroenke was now hated in St. Louis. The mayor, politicians, journalists and football fans all lined up to denounce him. One Rams fan, prominent accident and injury lawyer called Terry Crouppen, even ran an advert during Super Bowl halftime to #SlamStan.
And this actually shows you, because the Rams, literally what he did was shift the Rams from St. Louis to a city where they were, to a more amenable city. It looks like the more, very similar to what was happening with Arsenal, flying us into the European Super League. It looks like the same move. These guys are used to this, and because the UK government, the English government is not giving them all these glories they would get in American football. They were trying to make their own league where they could get these privileges. Listen.
I'm Terry Crouppen. You know my hometown, St. Louis. We were loyal to our football team. We bought their tickets, wore their jerseys, drank their overpriced beer. We cheered them year after losing year. And in return, they trashed us, then left us. Stan, you're worth $8 billion. That's not enough? Well, here's some free advice. Just because it's legal and you're rich enough to do it, that doesn't make it right.
Good guys. The same statements you've had before, fans fighting in the fighting the European Super League. The same statements this guy have made in 2016 when the Rams were taken away by the rich, created by the poor, stolen by the rich. So you can see that the European Super League was actually not something new. It has a basis. It has happened before in America. The fans didn't fight. I'm very happy that the European fans and all people who love European football fought against the fucking European Super League.
For Kroenke, in pure financial terms, the move made sense. Forbes estimated that the Rams' value doubled to $2.9 billion overnight. At the first home game as the LA Rams in the autumn of 2016, Stan Kroenke watched as the Red Hot Chili Peppers played a concert on the field before the match, wearing the famous gold and blue uniforms. CeeLo Green sung the national anthem. The Rams had a disastrous season, losing all but one of its last 12 matches. But at least some were enjoying the terrible football. The highest TV viewing figures for the LA Rams were not in Los Angeles. That honour was reserved for the city of St. Louis.
So guys, that is it. That's all about the Kroenkes. That is how Kroenke has built his empire. But you see what happened with the Rams moving to Los Angeles, but still the fans are in St. Louis, and literally they lost every game in that season when they moved over. When they moved over from St. Louis. Probably it could have happened to Arsenal going into that European Super League and then losing every game. losing every game against the likes of Real Madrid, Barcelona, Atletico Madrid, and and whatnot. So, guys, that's all you need to know about the Kroenkes. That's all. So, hit the like button, people. Subscribe to the channel as well. I'll be back with more explanatory videos, trying to make you understand more things about this football club. My name is COSSY, and I'll meet you soon.